guys, if you will go back to your notes 5-7, this was a 2-day lesson, so we're going to do part 2. If you will flip to problem 12 is where we're going to start off. Again, I'm going to just be doing the evens and you have to do the odds. So you will start with number 11. Okay. The town recreational department ordered a total of 100 baseballs and bats for the summer baseball camp. Baseballs cost $4.50 each and bats cost $20 each. The total purchase was $822. How many of each item was ordered? Okay, so we're talking about two things, and the two things that we are talking about is baseballs and bats. Okay, so I know that there's a total of 100 of each. I don't know how many baseballs I have. I don't know how many bats I have. So I do x plus y and it equals 100 because that's just how many I have. And then remember, you always keep money with money. So it's baseballs are $4.50. So I'm going to put $4.50x and bats cost 20. So plus 20y. And I got a total of $822. Okay, so from here, this is set up for elimination. The x is above x, the y above y, equals, and the constant with the constant number. But I don't have a same number. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to multiply, and that means I would multiply the top equation by 4.5 and the bottom equation by 1. Because remember, we just switch. Okay, so when I multiply, so 4.5 times x is 4.5x. 4.5 times y is 4.5y. And 4.5 times 100, so if you need your calculator, if I type it right, it helps, will give you 450. Okay, now for the bottom equation, you're just multiplying everything by 1, so you get 4.5x plus 20y equals 822. Since my x's are now the same, if I add them, they don't become 0, so I need to subtract. So 4.5 minus 4.5 cancels. 4.5 minus 20 becomes negative 15.5y. And 450 minus 822 becomes negative 372. To get y by itself, I divide by negative 15.5. And that gives me y equals 24. Okay, so I know that I have 24 bats. So now to figure out how many baseballs I have, I go back to the original equation, and we're going to go to x plus, but instead of y, we're going to put 24 equals 100. We subtract the 24, and x equals, so 100 minus 24 will be 76. So 76 baseballs. Okay, going on to number 14. One night, a theater sold 548 movie tickets. An adult's ticket cost $6.50 and a child's ticket cost $3.50. In all, $2,881 was taken in. How many of each kind of ticket were sold? Okay, so if I'm talking about X and Y, I have adult tickets and I have a child's ticket. Okay, I know that I sold a total of 548, but I don't know how many kids and how many adults, how many adults and how many kids. So I just take the adults plus the kids and total it to what was sold. Now I know an adult is $6.50, so I put $6.50 with X, and I'm going to keep money with money now. And so a child is $3.50, and we made $28.81. This one again is set up for elimination like the one above. So x is x, y equals, and your constant. We're going to switch and multiply. You can change your x to your y. I'm just going to stay consistent today and just change my x so it's easy for me. So I'm going to multiply the top one by 6.5 and the bottom one by 1. So the top becomes 6.5x plus 6.5y, and then 6.5 times 548 is 3,562. Since the bottom's being multiplied by 1, it doesn't change anything. So 6.5x plus 3.5y, and it equals 2881. Now, my x's are the same. If I add them, they will not cancel, so I subtract. They cancel there, so 6.5 minus 3.5 is 3y. And 3562 minus 2881 is 681. and I divide by 3. Whoop. And that gives me 227 for y. So I have 227 children tickets. Okay, so now to figure out adults, we're going to go back to x plus, and instead of y, we're going to put 227 equals 548. I subtract the 227. That gives me x equals 321. So I sell 321 adult tickets. And there's my answer. Okay, for number 16, a collection of dimes and nickels is worth $3.30. If there are 42 coins in all, how many of each kind of coin are there? Okay, so we're talking about two things here, X and Y. We're talking about dimes, and we're talking about nickels. Now, if you notice, they didn't give you as many numbers in this one as they do in all the others, because they assume that you know a dime is 10 cents and a nickel is 5 cents. They're not going to give you that. You have to know that. Okay, so I know that there's a total of 42 coins. I don't know how many of each. So this is your x plus y equation, and it equals 42. And then we keep money with money. So now that I know the value of each, we're going to do 0.10x plus 0.05y, and it equals $3.30. Okay, again, x is above x, y is above y, equals is above equals, and your constant number is above your constant number. So this is set up for elimination. Okay, but I don't have a same number. So again, just keeping it simple, I'm going to multiply the top one by 0.10 and the bottom by 1. So I just switch the numbers. Okay, so 0.10 times x is 0.10x. 0.10 times y is 0.10y. And if you need to see it, 0.10 times 42 would be 4.2. When you're multiplying by 1, it doesn't change anything. So the bottom equation stays the same. Now my x's are the same, since these are the exact same sign. If I add them, they do not cancel, so I'm going to subtract. That now cancels, so 0.10 minus 0.05 becomes 0.05. Keep y. And 4.2 minus 3.30 becomes 0.9. To get y by itself, we divide by that 0.05, and I get y equals 18. So I know I have 18 nickels. To figure out how many dimes I have, I'm going to do x plus 18 equals 42. I subtract 18, and 42 minus 18 will give me 24. So I have 24 dimes. Now, before I flip the page, remember, you can check all of these. I can take let me clear so you can see it, 0.10 and times it by 24 and add it to 0.05 and times it by 18. And if I don't get $3.30, I've done something wrong. You can plug back in and check every problem with these. Okay, we're going to flip to the back, and I have 2 more I'm going to do, and then you have 5 questions you have to do. So for number 18, Rob has $1.65 in nickels and dimes. He has 25 coins in all. How many of each kind of coin are there? So again, this is the same concept as the last problem. I have my x and my y. X is nickels, because that's what came first, and y is dimes. We know nickels are 0.05. We know dimes are 0.10. So I'm going to do for my first equation, I know I have 25 coins in all. So we're going to do x plus y equals 25. And then I'm going to put the money with money. I know that a nickel is 5 cents, and I know that a dime is y, so I put 5 cents with x and 10 cents with y, and I know my total is 165. This is again lined up for elimination, so I'm going to multiply this top one by 0.05 and this bottom one by 1. Okay, so 0.05 times x is 0.05x, 0.05 times y is 0.05y, and 0.05 times 25 is 1.25. The bottom equation, when you multiply by 1, does not change, so 0.05x plus 0.10y equals 165. Okay, since my x's are the same, if I add them, they won't cancel, so I have to subtract. Those cancel. So then I do 0.05 minus 0.10, and that gives me negative 0.05. And I do 1.25 minus 1.65, and that gives me negative 0.4. I divide by negative 0.05. Ooh. So there's that problem, and it gives me 8. Okay, I put an 8 in for y, and then I go back to the original equation. So x plus 8 equals 25. I'm going to subtract 8. When I subtract 8, I get 17. So I put a 17 in for nickels. If you wanted to check, you could do 0.05 times 17 plus 0.10 times 8, and we should get 165. Okay, one more example, and then you have a few on your own. Miss Miller decides to give a test worth 90 points, and it contains 25 questions. Multiple choice questions are worth 3 points, and word problems are worth 4 points. How many of each type of question are there? Okay, we're talking about two types of problems. We're talking about multiple choice and we're talking about word problems. Okay, like how money stays with money up here, points stay with points. So if I know I have a 90-point test, that's my total, I have to look at the other point values. Well, multiple choice are worth 3 points, so 3x. Word problems are worth 4 points, so plus 4y equals 90. For the other equation, I know there's 25 questions, but I don't know how much of each. So I just put x plus y equals 25. Okay, and then from here, this one's set up again for elimination. We're going to multiply the top one by 1 and the bottom one by 3 because I just switched my two numbers. So 1 times 3x is 3x, 1 times 4y is 4y, and 1 times 90 is 90. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times y is 3y, and 3 times 25 is 75. Now my x's are the same, but in order to get them to become 0, we have to subtract. If we add, that becomes 6, so I don't want to add. So that cancels, and 4 minus 3 is 1y, and 90 minus 75, that would be 15. If you needed to, you can divide by 1, but remember when 1's positive, it doesn't change anything. So I know there's going to be a total of 15 word problems. To figure out how many multiple choice, I'm going to use this equation. We're going to do x plus 15 equals 25. I subtract the 15, and that's an x, not a y. And x equals 10. So I have 10 multiple choice. And there's my answer. Okay, so for today, I know these are going to take a little bit longer, but what you are going to do is you are going to finish up the odds, so 11 through 19 you have to do. If you have questions, just ask for help.